On Thursday evening, as dusk fell and the city lights began to glow, Lee Changsheng arrived outside his girlfriend Gu Jin's apartment, his heart pounding with excitement. He and Gu Jin had been dating for 5 years, having made their relationship official during their sophomore year of university. After graduation, they both came to Shanghai to work. However, due to their jobs, they didn't live together and could only meet on weekends. Gu Jin had studied accounting and joined a large corporation in Shanghai after graduating. Lee Changsheng had majored in human resources management and joined a construction company in Shanghai. To earn more money, he chose to work as a project assistant on a construction site in the suburbs, managing personnel for the project. The suburbs were quite far from Gu Jin's rented apartment, making the commute inconvenient, so Lee Changsheng opted to live on-site at the project apartment. Naturally, the accommodation conditions there couldn't compare to an apartment in the city, but he persisted, determined to earn more and save enough for a down payment on an apartment sooner. He and Gu Jin weren't exactly childhood sweethearts, but they had been classmates from junior high through high school and attended the same university. After getting together, they promised each other they would save money together, buy an apartment, and settle down in Shanghai. This was the driving force behind his perseverance at the project site. Today marked the end of the project. Due to his excellent performance evaluation, he was not only set to be transferred to the company's Human Resources Center as a supervisor, meaning he could finally live with Gu Jin, but he had also received a bonus from the project department. It was a hefty sum of 100,000 yuan, which thrilled him. He bought a mousse cake, his girlfriend's favorite, eager to share the good news with her immediately. But when he took out his key and opened the door, he saw a young man sitting on the sofa in the one-bedroom apartment's living room. The man was wearing pajamas and slippers that looked strikingly similar to his own and was engrossed in his phone. Hearing the door open, he looked up. Their eyes met. Lee Changsheng was utterly shocked. "Who are you? What are you doing here?" As he spoke, he failed even to register the sound of running water coming from the bathroom. The young man was initially startled too, but a smile quickly spread across his face. He stood up and extended his hand. "You must be Senior Lee Changsheng, right? I'm Zhao Changming, Junior Gu's junior from university and also her colleague." Lee Changsheng didn't shake his hand, simply asking again, "What are you doing here?" Zhao Changming retracted his hand. "Oh, Senior, the faucet at my place is broken, no water. So I came over to Senior Gu's to take a shower." Lee Changsheng couldn't help but frown. Just then, the bathroom door opened and a girl walked out, drying her hair with a towel. She was wearing a purple slip nightdress, revealing her pale, bare shoulders, a wide expanse of her fair chest, and her pale, white thighs. "Changming, who are you talking to?" she asked casually as she walked. Then, she saw the dumbfounded Lee Changsheng. This was the first time Lee Changsheng had seen Gu Jin in over half a month. Because the project wrap-up had been so demanding, he hadn't been back for 2 weekends. "Changsheng, what brings you here?" Lee Changsheng noted her phrasing, "What brings you here?" not "Why are you back?" In an instant, Gu Jin froze, the motion of drying her hair halting. His heart felt as though pierced by a knife. He had only been away for 2 weekends, yet his girlfriend's home had changed so much it felt almost unrecognizable. In the presence of another man, his girlfriend was dressed so revealingly, so casually, it made Lee Changsheng deeply uncomfortable. Seeing Lee Changsheng's silence, Gu Jin realized something was wrong and quickly walked around the sofa towards him from the bathroom doorway. Lee Changsheng forced a smile. "What? Did I come at a bad time?" Gu Jin explained, flustered. "What are you saying? I thought you wouldn't be back until tomorrow." She reached out to grab Lee Changsheng's hand. Zhao Changming chimed in, looking slightly embarrassed. "Senior Gu, I didn't expect Senior Lee to show up. Is there enough food for dinner tonight? Should I cook some more noodles?" Gu Jin's hand, about to grasp Lee Changsheng's, stopped mid-air. Only then did Lee Changsheng register Zhao Changming's words. Did this mean Zhao Changming wasn't just showering here, but also staying for dinner? He couldn't help but look at Gu Jin, his mind racing, wondering about her relationship with Zhao Changming. Although he desperately wanted not to suspect anything, to doubt whether Gu Jin and Zhao Changming were involved improperly, he couldn't control his thoughts. Then his eyes fell on the clothesline on the balcony. Besides Gu Jin's clothes, blouses, pants, bras, and underwear, there were men's clothes hanging there too, including a pair of black boxer shorts. Those must be Zhao Changming's clothes, right? Why were they drying here? Could it be that Zhao Changming was living here too? Gu Jin tugged at his sleeve. "Changsheng, what's wrong? Let me tell you." Lee Changsheng didn't quite hear what she said. Instead, he stared intently at the pajamas and slippers Zhao Changming was wearing. It wasn't until he saw the red heart shape on the right chest of the pajamas that he was certain. They were his. Gu Jin had drawn that heart on them before. Li Changsheng hadn't been in the habit of wearing pajamas to sleep, but after arriving in Shanghai, Gu Jin bought him this set and drew a red heart over the spot where his heart would be, saying she wanted to mark it. It was indeed a good idea. It allowed Li Changsheng to recognize his own pajamas. Seeing the dark expression on Li Changsheng's face, Gu Jin quickly explained, Changsheng, Chaiming just lives next door. His faucet broke, and he has to work these days, no time to fix it. So he's been temporarily showering, washing clothes, and having dinner here. Zhao Chaiming stepped closer. Sorry about this, senior. I was planning to call a plumber on Saturday. I only have time on the weekend. You don't mind, do you? He mouthed an apology, but his eyes held not a trace of remorse, only defiance and smugness. Gu Jin also spoke up. Chaiming, Changsheng won't mind. You're our junior and my colleague. It's only right to help you out a bit. Right, Changsheng? Gu Jin looked at Li Changsheng. Li Changsheng handed the bag he was holding to Gu Jin. Yeah, right. This is for you. I was just passing by and thought I'd drop in to see you. My manager is waiting for me downstairs outside the complex. I have to get back to the project site later. I'll be going now. He turned to leave, but Gu Jin grabbed his hand. Hey, why the rush? Stay for dinner before you go back. You haven't been here in 2 weeks. Li Changsheng fought back the stinging tears, his voice thick with emotion. No, I can't keep the manager waiting. I'll come back when I have time. Gu Jin tried to tighten her grip, but her hand slipped off Li Changsheng's. His palm was sweaty, causing her grasp to slide off with the pressure. Li Changsheng took the opportunity to push open the door and walk out, pulling it shut with a bang behind him. Outside the door, Li Changsheng quickly descended the stairs. But just as he reached the landing below, his legs gave way, and he crumpled to his knees on the floor. With a creak, the apartment door upstairs opened, and someone poked their head out to look. It was Zhao Chaiming. Not seeing Li Changsheng anymore after he left, Zhao Chaiming turned back and said to Gu Jin, Senior sister, senior brother left. He wouldn't be angry, would he? Gu Jin's voice came from inside the room. No, he's really busy. All right, go wash your hands. Dinner after you wash your hands. Okay, senior sister. Why didn't you close the door? Gu Jin asked. Zhao Chaiming's voice piped up again. Senior sister. I was embarrassed to say earlier. Senior brother smelled all sweaty. Leaving the door open can air it out. Oh, then turn on the fan. So, senior sister, you don't like it either? Get lost. Why would I like the smell of sweat? Am I sick? Hearing the exchange from upstairs, Li Changsheng leaned against the corner wall, his heart aching as if pierced by a knife. Truthfully, why would he just be passing by to see Gu Jin? What manager was supposedly waiting for him outside the complex? He just couldn't bear to face the ambiguous intimacy between Gu Jin and Zhao Chaiming. Even without concrete evidence of Gu Jin cheating, the seeds of doubt had been sown. Suspicion was inevitable. The pajamas Zhao Chaiming wore, the slippers on his feet, the clothes hanging on the balcony clothesline, the man's and woman's underwear nestled close together. Everything suggested Gu Jin might be cheating. His heart felt like it was being squeezed tight, about to burst. And the voices floating down from upstairs were like sharp knives slicing his heart to pieces. He heard the disdain in Gu Jin's words. Working at the project site, often exposed to the sun, frequently dealing with reinforced concrete, he sweated profusely. Smelling of sweat was normal, and he was tan dark, making him look older than his age. He didn't seem to recall her complaining before. He'd thought she didn't mind. He hadn't expected her to dislike it, just that she hadn't voiced it. He thought of Zhao Chaiming again. Compared to his own dark skin and weathered face, Zhao Chaiming was young, fair-skinned, and clean, much more pleasant to look at. With a bitter smile, he stood up and slowly descended the stairs. Behind him, the faint sounds of Zhao Chaiming and Gu Jin talking in the room still lingered. Gu Jin must be very happy now, right? Maybe because he could only accompany her 1 or 2 days a week at most, she must have been very lonely during the workdays. Reaching the ground floor, as he left, he couldn't resist looking back one last time at the light shining from the window. Walking through the residential complex, people bustled around him, yet he felt utterly alone, as if he were the only person in the world. What should he do now? He and Gu Jin had already met each other's parents. Both families lived in the same rural township and interacted frequently. To their parents back home, the two of them were practically married. Should they break up now? What about their parents? Lost in a daze, he walked out of the complex. A tantalizing aroma wafted towards him, followed by a loud rumbling in his stomach. Only then did he realize he hadn't eaten dinner. Spotting a barbecue stall by the roadside, he walked straight in without hesitation. Previously, to save money to scrape together the down payment for a house, he never went to barbecue places. Apart from necessary work-related meals, he always ate at the project site canteen. His monthly salary was $8,000 after tax, plus project subsidies, totaling around $11,000. But he saved $8,000 every month, using the rest for networking and expenses. After 2 years, he had saved about 200,000 yuan. This amount was far from enough for a down payment on a house in Shanghai, so he had to be frugal. He ordered 10 lamb skewers, 3 chicken legs, 3 mushroom skewers, 3 green bean skewers, and 5 bottles of beer, then sat down, lost in thought again. Now that he had received the 10,000 yuan project bonus, there was no rush to marry Gujin. He had worked so hard for so long, it was time to treat himself. Before the lamb skewers arrived, a WeChat notification flashed on his phone. It was from the contact labeled wife, Changsheng. Have you arrived? Li Changsheng thought for a moment, but didn't reply. He wasn't in the mood. After finishing the barbecue, he felt slightly tipsy. He found a nearby hotel and checked in, sleeping straight through until the next morning. That weekend, Li Changsheng didn't go see Gujin, nor did he answer her calls or reply to her WeChat messages, despite her calling several times and constantly trying to reach him online. He was busy too. In fact, he had already moved out of the project's site accommodation on Friday and relocated back to the city proper. He quickly found a place to rent not far from the company headquarters. It happened fast. He didn't spend much time choosing. He asked a real estate agent for recommendations, viewed a flat, and decided on it that same morning. It was a shared apartment, 3 bedrooms, and 1 living room. Only 1 room was left, costing 2,000 yuan a month, requiring 3 months' rent as deposit and 1 month's rent up front. He signed a contract without much hesitation. Part of his reason was to spite Gujin, as this place was far from hers. Another reason was practical. He needed to report to the headquarters Human Resources Center on Monday. The apartment had 3 rooms. According to the agent, the other 2 rooms were also occupied by men, so there was no awkward male-female cohabitation situation, though he hadn't met them when viewing the flat. He spent half a day simply arranging his room. In the evening, he went to a nearby supermarket, bought some groceries and alcohol, and cooked a simple meal with his mediocre culinary skills. Around 7 o'clock, his 2 roommates returned, and he proactively introduced himself. His roommates were named Zhong Hansheng and Luo Quangming. Zhong Hansheng was 28, a teller at a state-owned bank, held a master's degree, hailed from Xiangyang, Hubei, wasn't married, had no girlfriend, and worked at the bank branch just down the street outside the complex. He wasn't very tall, just over 170 centimeters, but was quite handsome, sunny, and outgoing. Luo Quangming was 30. He had secured a public sector position through examination after moving from another province, also holding a master's degree. He was from Ruijin, Jiangxi, and was already married, though his wife and child were still in Ruijin. His wife had a job there, their son was only 2, and they couldn't afford to buy property in Shanghai yet, so they were temporarily living apart. Both Zhong Hansheng and Luo Quangming were quite friendly towards Li Changsheng, especially feeling a bit embarrassed that he had taken the initiative to cook a table full of food and drinks. They agreed they could have small gatherings on weekends in the future. Alcohol proved to be the best social lubricant. After a few glasses, the 3 men quickly warmed up to each other. Li Changsheng felt a little ashamed. Among the 3 of them, he had the lowest level of education. The thought of pursuing a master's degree began to sprout in his mind, specifically in engineering. Switching fields for postgraduate studies would certainly be difficult, but Luo Quangming's words gave him significant inspiration. Little Li, in a place like Shanghai, never think you're already good enough. The competition here is too fierce. Every day, countless people arrive here to compete with you, not just from within the country, but many foreigners too. If you slack off even a little, you might just get pushed out. Zhong Hansheng deeply agreed. As he lay in bed that night, Li Changsheng felt that his relationship with Gujin was very likely heading toward a turning point. He resolved to start working hard on improving himself. His onboarding on Monday went smoothly. Having frequently coordinated with the Human Resources Center while working on the previous project, Li Changsheng was already quite familiar with everyone there. Besides, he was someone the HR director had specifically requested to be transferred in. The Human Resources Center comprised 3 departments: training and development, recruitment, and compensation and performance. That evening, the manager of the recruitment department, where he was assigned, organized a dinner to welcome him. And so, the group of 6 headed to a nearby Hunan restaurant. As they reached the entrance, Li Changsheng was chatting with a colleague from his team when the colleague nudged him. "Changsheng, isn't that beauty looking at you?" Li Changsheng followed his colleague's gaze and saw a familiar figure watching him from beside the restaurant door, clearly having just stood up from a waiting seat. It was Gujin. She wasn't alone. Zhao Changming was with her. He had no idea if they were just passing by on their way home from work or something else. Li Changxing's heart faltered. He felt reluctant to face Gu Jin. But Gu Jin, her eyes red, strode quickly towards him. Changxing, what are you doing here? Why didn't you come find me over the weekend? Gu Jin asked loudly, causing all of Li Changxing's colleagues to turn their heads. He had no choice but to tell his colleagues to go inside first, promising to join them shortly. Exchanging knowing glances, the colleagues filed into the Hunan restaurant. Li Changxing had intended to offer Gu Jin an explanation, a fabricated one, of course. But unexpectedly, Zhao Changming followed her over. Hello, Senior. Are you eating here too? Senior Gu and I came here for dinner as well. Their steamed fish head with chopped chili and stir-fried cured meat are very authentic. Zhao Changming stood close beside Gu Jin, beaming happily as he spoke. Li Changxing swallowed the explanation he was about to give, noting it was just the two of them. He nodded. Yes, what a coincidence. Then, nodding towards Gu Jin, he said, My colleagues are waiting for me. I'm going in first. He was about to turn away, but Gu Jin grabbed his hand. Changxing, you haven't told me why you're here. Why didn't you come find me over the weekend? Li Changxing turned and saw Gu Jin's tear-filled eyes. His heart softened, and he explained nonetheless. I came to headquarters for some business today and am having dinner with colleagues. I didn't have time over the weekend, you know that. Gu Jin's voice was choked with tears. Then why didn't you answer my calls? Or reply to my WeChat messages? Are you angry with me? Li Changxing forced an unnatural smile. Why would I be angry? I just didn't have time, that's all. I'll get back to you when I do. Gu Jin wasn't satisfied with this answer and simply stared at Li Changxing. Li Changxing, however, glanced at Zhao Changming. Just then, the restaurant's announcement system crackled. Table A12 ready for seating. Table A12, please proceed to your table. Zhao Changming beamed. Senior Gu, that's us. Another pang shot through Li Changxing's heart. It was painfully obvious that Gu Jin and Zhao Changming were here for dinner, just the two of them. Was this a date? He wondered how many times they had eaten out like this. You two go ahead and eat. My colleagues are waiting for me too. Without waiting for Gu Jin to respond, Li Changxing firmly pulled his hand away and headed into the restaurant first. Changxing, Changxing. Gu Jin chased after him, but the place was crowded, and by the time she got inside, Li Changxing was nowhere to be seen. Zhao Changming followed her, a pleased look on his face. Seeing Gu Jin about to head towards the private rooms upstairs to find Li Changxing, he quickly grabbed her arm. Senior Gu, do you think Senior Li misunderstood us? Is he angry? Gu Jin naturally thought the same, but Zhao Changming's words irked her somewhat. We haven't done anything. What does he have to be angry about? Why won't he just talk to me clearly? As she spoke, tears streamed down her face. Zhao Changming quickly grabbed a couple of tissues from a nearby table and handed them to her. Table A12 ready for seating. Table A12, please proceed to your table. Table A12 ready for seating. Table A12, please proceed to your table. Hearing the announcement, Zhao Changming pulled Gu Jin along. Senior Gu, let's eat first before they give our table away. Still resentful, Gu Jin allowed Zhao Changming to lead her to table A12. Li Changxing hadn't actually gone into the private room yet. He was standing behind a pillar on the second floor, watching them. Seeing Zhao Changming take Gu Jin's hand and lead her to the table to eat, his heart felt like ashes. Zhao Changming held her hand so naturally, and Gu Jin didn't seem to find anything amiss. It clearly indicated they were already very familiar, holding hands often. The dinner was extremely uncomfortable for Li Changxing. Despite his colleagues' warmth, he couldn't muster any enthusiasm. His colleagues were understanding. Having witnessed the scene downstairs, they had already formed guesses about Gu Jin's identity. Such situations were all too common in Shanghai. The pace here was incredibly fast. Work pace was fast, and relationship pace was fast too. Breaking up and getting together were perfectly normal occurrences. As they finished eating and prepared to leave, the department manager, Zhang Chong, spoke earnestly to Li Changxing. Changxing, the director really appreciates you. He highly recognizes your work at Project Department L3 and thinks the work model you pioneered is excellent, with potential for promotion within the group. But you also have a shortcoming, do you know that? Li Changxing quickly asked for guidance. Brother Zhang, please enlighten me. Zhang Chong clapped him on the shoulder. That was your girlfriend earlier, wasn't it? Having a fight. Li Changxing nodded glumly. It's clear your girlfriend and that guy beside her have an unusual relationship. But I'm not here to give you relationship advice. What I want to tell you is that you're still young, only 2 years out of university. You need a sense of urgency. In our department, apart from little Sue and you, everyone else has a master's degree. While the company doesn't have explicit academic thresholds for promotion, A higher degree is definitely a plus. You still need to improve yourself. A chill ran through Li Changxing's heart, strengthening his resolve to take the postgraduate entrance exam. As he stepped out of the Hunan restaurant, Gu Jin rushed towards him. Changsheng. Li Changsheng asked somewhat coldly. Oh, you haven't left yet? Gu Jin's eyes reddened again. I was waiting for you, Changsheng. Let's go home. She reached out to take his hand. Li Changsheng pulled his hand away, leaving Gu Jin stunned. Zhao Changming, who was also nearby, walked over. Senior Gu has been waiting for you. She really misses you. Li Changsheng waved goodbye to Zhang Chang and the others, then turned to Zhao Changming with a half-smile. You even know that. Zhao Changming's expression froze for a moment before he gave an awkward smile. Gu Jin grabbed Li Changxing's hands with both of hers. Changxing, what's wrong with you? Is there something you can't tell me? Why are you being so cold? Li Changsheng sighed. It's nothing. Just busy with work, a bit tired. Gu Jin pulled Li Changxing's hand, leading him away as she spoke. Let's go home. I'll give you a massage when we get back. Li Changxing's heart softened, and he allowed himself to be led away by Gu Jin. Zhao Changming's face darkened as he slowly followed behind them. Gu Jin pulled Li Changsheng to the roadside, wanting to hail a taxi, but it was peak hour and taxis weren't easy to catch. After waiting several minutes without seeing one, Gu Jin kept holding tightly onto Li Changxing's hand. Li Changsheng was about to ask Gu Jin to let go when a taxi happened to drop off a passenger nearby. Zhao Changming spotted it first and called out, Senior sister, there's a cab. Overjoyed, Gu Jin pulled Li Changsheng towards the taxi. However, Zhao Changming had already opened the back door on the other side and gotten in. By the time Gu Jin opened her side, he was already seated. Gu Jin hesitated for a moment. Zhao Changming called out, Senior sister, get in. Gu Jin, still holding Li Changxing's hand, moved to get in, but Li Changxing pulled his hand away, saying, You get in. I'll take the front passenger seat. Once in the car, Zhao Changming started talking. Senior sister, that steamed fish head with chopped chili was good today, right? Not too spicy for you. I found it a bit too spicy, but it was very fragrant, Gu Jin replied. People from her and Li Changxing's hometown didn't eat much spicy food. A mild heat was usually their limit. Zhao Changming laughed. But that dish needs to be really spicy to have the right kick. It's no good if it's not spicy. That pickled vegetable fish we had last time was child's play. And the time before that, the spicy rabbit heads. You couldn't handle them either. Such a pity. He spoke excitedly, but Li Changxing understood the underlying meaning. They had eaten together more than once or twice. Living next door to each other, they probably dined together often. Moreover, Zhao Changming had eaten dinner at Gu Jin's place just a few days ago. He wondered if the faucet in Zhao Changming's apartment had been fixed yet. The discomfort in his heart surged again. Sensing Li Changxing's silence, Gu Jin asked, Changsheng, what do those colleagues of yours from today do? Oh, they're all from the group's Human Resources Center. Zhao Changming chimed in again. Senior sister, wasn't that stir-fried preserved meat authentic today? During the new year, I'll ask my dad to send some over for you to try. It's more fragrant than this one. You'll definitely like it. Okay, thank you. Gu Jin expressed her gratitude. The distance wasn't far, and the taxi soon arrived outside the residential complex. When they got out, Li Changsheng paid the fare. It wasn't much, less than 30 yuan. After getting out, Zhao Changming started complaining. Just this short distance, less than 3 kilometers, costs over 20 yuan. Too expensive. Senior sister, let's take the bus next time, okay? Li Changsheng found this Zhao Changming incredibly annoying and quickened his pace, walking ahead. Because Zhao Changming kept talking, Gu Jin fell behind with him. All right, today was a special situation since we needed to get back quickly. We'll take the bus from now on. Hearing them chatting animatedly, Li Changsheng felt a chill in his heart. He stopped by the side of the path, watching the two walk past him, engrossed in conversation. Gu Jin soon noticed Li Changsheng wasn't ahead and, turning back, saw him standing by the roadside. Surprised, she asked, Changsheng, what's wrong? What are you doing standing there? Li Changsheng shrugged. I didn't bring my key. Oh, let's go then. Gu Jin came back to take his hand, but he sidestepped as she approached. They lived on the 4th floor. Upon reaching the 4th floor, Zhao Changming was walking in front. When they reached Gu Jin's door, he took out a key to open it. Seeing this from behind, Li Changsheng couldn't help but halt his steps. Gu Jin quickly explained, Changsheng, Changming's faucet still isn't fixed, so he's still showering at our place. Li Changsheng gave a faint After opening the door, Zhao Changming turned and said, Senior sister, I'll go shower first. Okay, go ahead. Zhao Changming went to the balcony, gathered all the clothes, including Gu Jin's underwear, put them away in a room, then grabbed his own clothes and went into the bathroom. Entering the apartment, Gu Jin saw Li Changsheng still standing at the doorway and asked puzzledly, "Changsheng, come in?" Li Changsheng glanced down at his own feet with a cold smile and said icily, "I don't have any slippers." He had seen Zhao Changming naturally slip off his leather shoes and put on slippers just moments before. On the shoe rack, only one pair remained, pink ones belonging to Gu Jin. A flicker of panic crossed Gu Jin's eyes. She quickly said, "It's okay, you don't have to change shoes." "How can I shower if I don't change shoes?" Li Changxing's tone remained cold. Gu Jin froze, taken aback by the iciness in Li Changxing's voice, and didn't react immediately. Standing at the doorway, Li Changxing peered inside the apartment, his heart growing increasingly bitter and cold. He didn't spend much time living here, 2 days a week at most, sometimes not even coming over on weekends if work was busy. So, he didn't have many belongings here, just a few clothes. However, many of the daily items were things he and Gu Jin had set up together, but now many things had been moved. The 2 dumbbells originally in the left corner were now under the coffee table, likely having been used by someone. On the coffee table sat a bottle of men's hair gel. He didn't use hair gel. It was hot on the construction site, so he kept his hair in a buzz cut. But Zhao Changming's hair was longer. It was undoubtedly Zhao's gel. Next to the gel was an electric razor, a Philips brand. That brand was expensive. Li Changxing used a Flyco, and he didn't keep it here. It definitely belonged to Zhao Changming too. Recalling how skillfully Zhao Changming had gathered the laundry just now, and then taken that set of pajamas from the room to the bathroom, he realized Zhao Changming must have been wearing his pajamas these past few days, even though they were pajamas he himself hadn't worn often. There were fewer traces of him here now, replaced by many traces of Zhao Changming. Gu Jin, flustered, came over to take his hand, but Li Changsheng stepped back. "What is it now, Changsheng? What are you making a fuss about?" Gu Jin asked tearfully, a sense of grievance in her voice. Li Changsheng sighed. "Let's break up." Gu Jin's eyes widened as she asked loudly, "Why? Why break up?" Li Changsheng gave a bitter smile. "You still don't know why? You and Zhao Changming are practically living together, and you're asking me why." "I'm not. Changsheng, it's not like that." Gu Jin stepped forward to hug Li Changsheng, but he avoided her. "Changsheng, really, I'm not. Changming's faucet is just broken. He's only borrowing our shower. We're colleagues, and he's my junior. What's wrong with helping him out a bit?" Li Changxing's anger flared. He retorted sharply, "Is it just borrowing water? Eating together, doing laundry together, washing hair, and shaving here. Is that just helping out a bit? My slippers, my pajamas, they're his now. What's next? Are you going to be his too?" Tears streamed down Gu Jin's face as she tried to argue, but everything Li Changsheng said was true. She also felt it was somewhat awkward, but found it hard to refuse Zhao Changming. She could only shake her head and cry, "I haven't, Changsheng. I really haven't." Li Changsheng sneered. "That faucet of his is never getting fixed, is it?" Gu Jin froze instantly, stunned. Just then, Zhao Changming opened the bathroom door and came out, asking, Senior sister, what's wrong with you two?" Gu Jin lowered her head. Li Changsheng regarded him coolly, saying nothing. He didn't believe for a second that Zhao Changming hadn't heard their raised voices moments ago. This deliberate question was nothing but feigned innocence. Holding some clothes, Zhao Changming walked over, pretending to have just noticed the strained atmosphere, and hastily apologized. "Were you two arguing? I'm so sorry, it's all my fault. Senior, the repairman I called over the weekend wasn't very good and didn't fix my faucet properly. But don't worry, I'll head back right now. I won't bother Senior's sister for help again. Please don't be angry with her." Li Changsheng said nothing, his gaze fixed on Gu Jin. Gu Jin waved a hand dismissively. "It's fine, Changming. We're colleagues, and you're my junior. It's perfectly normal for you to ask for my help when you're having trouble." This was genuinely how she felt. She simply wanted to help her junior, with no other intentions, and therefore believed she had done nothing wrong. Li Changsheng shook his head, turned, and started down the stairs. "Changsheng, where are you going?" Gu Jin hurried after him. Without looking back, Li Changsheng answered curtly, "I'm going home." Gu Jin started to follow him downstairs, but Zhao Changming emerged behind her. "Senior sister, is Senior angry with me? Oh dear, I should have apologized earlier. I've rather gotten used to being here at your place these last few days." With this interruption, Li Changsheng was already downstairs. Gu Jin felt exhausted too and told Zhao Changming, "Changming, you should head back quickly. You have work tomorrow." Zhao Changming, however, didn't budge. "Senior sister, do you and Senior argue often?" Gu Jin slowly shook her head. "Senior sister, I think Senior might be a bit too petty-minded. You haven't done anything wrong. Yet he gets angry with you like this, even talking about breaking up. That's hardly behaving like a real man. Gujin gave him a light push. Don't say any more. Hurry back now. Okay, senior sister, I'll head back then. Don't you be angry now. With that, he gave Gujin a lingering, affectionate glance before leaving. Exhausted, Gujin shut the door, returned to her room, and flopped onto the bed, unwilling to move. She couldn't wrap her head around it. She hadn't done anything to wrong Li Changsheng, so why was he so angry? Why talk about breaking up? Didn't he remember they had already met each other's parents? How could he want to end things over something so trivial? Li Changsheng felt he had all but lost hope for Gujin. By now, he was certain. Gujin might not have been unfaithful, but Zhao Changming genuinely harbored ill intentions. All the signs pointed to Zhao having inappropriate designs on her. Yet Gujin remained blissfully unaware, essentially inviting a wolf into her home. Remembering Gujin's self-righteous justifications earlier, a sense of powerlessness washed over him. Zhao Changming spending every day with Gujin was exerting too much influence. His chances of winning her back felt increasingly remote. Upon returning home, he too turned in early. Another weekend arrived, and Li Changsheng was deep into studying for the postgraduate entrance exam. He didn't have much choice. In a shared apartment, two graduate students constantly applied pressure, whether intentionally or not, while a group of high achievers at his company were also nudging him along. Several colleagues in human resources, who had majored in management as undergraduates before pursuing engineering master's degrees, had offered guidance on review materials and books. He had already bought a complete set of official study guides and embarked on a rigorous study plan. As his friend Zhang Chong often said, investing in oneself is the most profitable venture, even more so than love. Nearing noon on Saturday, his phone rang. A glance at the screen showed it was Gujin, making him pause. He hadn't received any calls or WeChat messages from her all week. He knew she was also angry, but he hadn't had the inclination to try and smooth things over, uncertain of where her head was at. After a moment's hesitation, he picked up. Hello, Changsheng? Why aren't you at the project site? There doesn't seem to be anyone around. The offices are all empty. Gujin's anxious voice came over the line. Li Changsheng was taken aback that Gujin had actually gone to his project site that day. It was in a remote location, inconvenient to reach, no direct subway, requiring 2 bus transfers, and there were even safety concerns. He immediately became agitated. You went to my project site? What are you doing there? That project has already wrapped up. How did you even get there? Was it safe? Gujin sounded even more astonished. The project ended? Then where are you now? Why didn't you tell me? Oof. From her end, as if someone had bumped into something. Zhao Changming? It was followed by Gujin's voice. Sorry, Changming. How did you get to the project site? Li Changsheng demanded instantly. Gujin sounded somewhat sheepish. Ah, yes. Changming rented a car. He said the subway and buses were too much hassle, so it was better to just rent one. He also said he wanted to come apologize to you. Just as he suspected, Zhao Changming again. Li Changsheng felt a surge of irritation, and his voice grew cold. Well, that was quite the trouble for you both. But I'm no longer at the project site. The apology isn't necessary. You should just head back. Changsheng, where are you? I'll come find you, just tell me. Sensing the chill in his voice, Gujin grew anxious. Li Changsheng ignored her question, asking instead, has Zhao Changming's faucet been fixed yet? Sudden silence fell on the other end. Gujin didn't reply, but Zhao Changming piped up, Senior, my apologies, I already called another repairman this morning. Rest assured, it will definitely be fixed today. Li Changsheng fell silent. Was that what I was asking? The thought drained his desire to speak further. He said flatly, just head back. Be safe, and hung up. Gujin immediately redialed, but he ignored it. As her calls persisted, he simply switched off his phone. Sitting at his desk, he found he could no longer concentrate on the study materials before him. Giving up, he turned on his computer to play a game. He was fond of Three Kingdoms strategy games, but hadn't really played in the past 2 years for lack of time. Today, he decided he would just unwind. He didn't realize it was already 12:30 until Zhong Hanxing knocked on his door. Changsheng, come on. Old Luo says it's his treat. We're going out for some stir-fry and a couple of drinks. Li Changsheng took off his headphones. All right, give me a second. Stepping into the living room, he saw Luo Guangming holding a reused Coke bottle filled with a yellowish liquid. Rice wine, he recognized instantly. Brought this from home, brewed it myself, Luo Guangming explained. Hope you don't mind. Li Changsheng grinned. Brother Luo, this is the good stuff. Pure grain brew, isn't it? Healthier than baijiu or beer. With that, the 3 men headed downstairs. In the blink of an eye, it was Friday again. That evening, Li Chongqing remembered that his graduation certificate and other documents were still at Gu Jin's place, and he needed them for his graduate school application. He decided he had to make a trip to retrieve them. After eating dinner out, it was nearly 8 o'clock when he arrived downstairs at Gu Jin's building. He glanced up at the 4th floor. The lights in Gu Jin's apartment were off, suggesting she wasn't back yet. He didn't have a key, so he sat down on the edge of the flower bed downstairs to wait. He waited until 10 o'clock, by which time his phone had died, and Gu Jin still hadn't returned. Just as he was thinking of heading home, 2 figures approached from a distance. Even from afar, he could see it was a shorter person supporting a taller one, walking slowly towards him. At first, he paid them no mind, until he heard a voice. "Senior sister, I'm so sorry for making you help me back. Luckily, I'm not too heavy, otherwise, I have worn you out." It was Zhao Changming's voice, thick with drunkenness. Li Chongqing's heart clenched instantly. Gu Jin, supporting him, said, "All right, stop talking. Who told you to drink so much? Trying to be a hero when you can't hold your liquor?" Zhao Changming declared loudly, "I'm the only guy in our department. Who else would drink if I didn't? Senior sister, didn't you see they were just picking on us? Haha, but I handled 2 of them. It was worth it." Gu Jin replied reproachfully, "That's no reason to force yourself and get drunk like this. Look at you now, what are you going to do? Isn't that what I have you for, senior sister? I knew you wouldn't just leave me behind." Zhao Changming replied with a cheeky grin. Gu Jin was about to speak when the corner of her eye caught a figure standing by the flower bed. She immediately recognized Li Chongsheng and exclaimed, "Chongsheng, what are you doing here? Why didn't you go up?" Li Chongsheng stated flatly, "I came to get my documents, but I didn't bring my key." Gu Jin, still shouldering Zhao Changming's arm, strained slightly. "What documents?" Zhao Changming seemed to sober up a little, slowly raising his head to look at Li Chongsheng. With a drunken smile, he said, "Ah, senior brother, what brings you here?" Then, he seemed unsteady on his feet, grabbing Gu Jin's shoulder with his right hand to try and stand straight, causing her to sway and nearly fall. Gu Jin looked towards Li Chongsheng, her heart aching with grievance when she saw he had no intention of helping, her gaze fixed on him. "You should take him home first. I'll come back tomorrow," Li Chongsheng said, finding the sight unbearable. Seeing his girlfriend, Gu Jin still hadn't let go of Zhao Changming. It was unacceptable to him, displaying such a lack of boundaries. Seeing Li Chongsheng about to leave, Gu Jin grew anxious. She pushed Zhao Changming away to chase after Li Chongsheng, but unexpectedly, Zhao Changming immediately collapsed to the ground with a cry of ouch, seemingly injured from the fall. Gu Jin could only crouch down beside him. "Changming, are you okay? Where did you get hurt?" Li Chongsheng hadn't gone far. Hearing Gu Jin's voice, he couldn't help but pause. Zhao Changming lay on the ground, his breath reeking of alcohol, mumbling indistinctly, "Senior sister, I'm fine. Go after senior brother, don't worry about me." Gu Jin hurried after Li Chongsheng, who turned around to face her. "Chongsheng, what are you doing? Why are you leaving? Don't you know I've been looking for you for ages?" Li Chongsheng dodged her reaching hand, stepping back with a bitter smile. "You were looking for me? How did you look for me?" "By having Zhao Changming rent a car to find me." Gu Jin had indeed called him during that time, but he hadn't answered, nor had he replied to her WeChat messages. Gu Jin quickly explained, "You wouldn't answer my calls or reply to my messages. I didn't know where else to find you." "Is Zhao Changming's faucet fixed yet?" Gu Jin was speechless, lowering her head. "Huh." Li Chongqing chuckled softly. 10 a.m. tomorrow. I'll come get my things." He turned to leave again. Gu Jin grabbed his hand, but he flung it away. Perhaps exhausted from supporting Zhao Changming earlier, Gu Jin stumbled from the force, crying out, "Ayo," as she fell to the ground. Li Chongsheng froze for a second. At that moment, Zhao Changming scrambled over to Gu Jin's side to help her up, then pointed furiously at Li Chongsheng, yelling, "Li Chongsheng, you've gone too far. Senior sister hasn't been resting well. Because of you, she even had some problems at work, and she spent the weekend looking for you. And now you hit her? Are you even human?" "Changming, stop it." Gu Jin quickly scolded Zhao Changming, seeing the pained look on Li Chongsheng's face. Zhao Changming was furious and ignored Gu Jin, continuing his tirade. "Senior sister, are you still thinking about this guy? Is he worth it? Look at him. He doesn't care about you at all." He wanted to say more, but was cut off when Gu Jin pushed him, forcing him to shut his mouth. Although it was past 10, there were still quite a few people walking around the residential complex. Passers-by glanced at the 3 of them, and some even stopped to watch the commotion. Gu Jin walked over, grabbed Li Chongsheng's hands with both of hers, and pleaded tearfully, "Chongsheng, please don't go yet. Let's go back inside. I'll explain everything properly, okay? Please. Li Changsheng forcefully wrenched his hands free, stating coolly, "If I go back, do I have shoes to wear? Do I have pajamas to change into? I stink of sweat like this. Can I even take a shower? Will you let me in? Is there still a place for me in your home?" Gu Jin's body stiffened where she stood, forgetting even to reach for his hand again. Then, she crumpled to the ground, burying her face in her hands and sobbing. Seeing this, Zhao Changming charged forward and shoved Li Changsheng hard. Li Changsheng staggered back several steps before falling to the ground. "Li Changsheng, you bastard! Seeing your sister is such a wonderful woman. She's lost her appetite and couldn't rest because of you lately, and you still treat her like this. I'll kill you." Without waiting for Li Changsheng to get up, he rushed forward to attack. Li Changsheng had just scrambled to his feet when, caught off guard, he was punched squarely in the face. A sharp, aching pain shot through it. He was about to touch his face to check the damage when Zhao Changming swung relentlessly again. Li Changsheng could only kick out, sending Zhao Changming staggering back several steps. 2 years of working on construction sites had kept him physically fit. The kick sent Zhao Changming tumbling to the ground. "Ow!" Zhao Changming cried out in pain. Gu Jin stood up, looking between the two in shock. She instinctively wanted to check on Li Changsheng, having seen his nose was bleeding. Li Changsheng wiped his face with his hand and saw the blood. His nose throbbed painfully, and he suspected the bridge might be broken. Anger flared within him. He started towards Zhao Changming, intending to hit him back, but Gu Jin quickly stepped in front of him, blocking his path. "Changsheng, don't fight, Changsheng." Li Changsheng stopped, feeling his heart shatter into pieces. He asked her, "Are you protecting him?" Gu Jin quickly shook her head, explaining, "No, Changsheng, I'm not protecting him. Fighting is wrong, don't fight." Li Changsheng's nose was still bleeding, yet he began to laugh. "Right, I understand. Fighting is wrong. Yes, fighting is wrong. Ha ha ha." Amidst the laughter, he kept backing away, laughing as he retreated. But his laughter held such a desolate sound that even the surrounding onlookers felt a pang of sorrow listening to it. Who? Who? The wail of a siren approached, and soon a police car pulled up beside them. 3 officers quickly got out, one shouting, "Who called the police?" It turned out someone had seen the crowd and called 911. The police arrived within minutes. An old man raised his hand. "Officer," I called. "I saw them fighting." "Who was fighting?" The officer walked up to Li Changsheng, staring at him sternly. Li Changsheng wiped away a trickle of blood from his nose, but said nothing. The officer scanned the area, his gaze falling on Gu Jin and Zhao Changming, who were closest. "Who hit you?" he asked. Li Changsheng naturally didn't want to let Zhao Changming off the hook. He pointed a finger. "He hit me." Zhao Changming panicked, quickly yelling, "Officer, he hit me too. He kicked me down. Look where I fell." He turned around, showing his dirt-stained backside, trying to prove his words. Li Changsheng stated calmly, "Officer, there should be security cameras around here, right? These people are also witnesses. They can testify." As the police began investigating and gathering evidence, Zhao Changming started to panic. As a university graduate, he had a basic understanding of the law. His actions could potentially be classified as mutual combat, but since he struck first and Li Changsheng was injured, it was highly likely he would be deemed the assailant, meaning he would have to bear legal responsibility. Li Changsheng stood there, wiping his bleeding nose with his sleeve. He didn't have any tissues and had to make do. Gu Jin hesitated, then walked over, taking a tissue from her bag, intending to hand it to Li Changsheng, but he turned and walked away. "Changsheng." Gu Jin's call was tinged with sorrow. On the other side, Zhao Changming waited anxiously, his face pale, unsure what to do. The police quickly finished gathering evidence, retrieved footage from nearby surveillance cameras, and took statement from the onlookers. After conferring amongst themselves, the 3 officers walked back over. "You two come here. Regarding today's incident, the lead officer pointed at Zhao Changming, started the fight and injured this person. Zhao Changming, right? The responsibility lies with you." Zhao Changming hastily tried to explain. "Officer, I didn't mean to. I saw him push my senior sister down and I couldn't stand by, so I hit him." "You don't need to yell at me. Telling me is useless. Right now, you need to seek forgiveness from the person who was hit. If he doesn't forgive you, we will handle this according to the Public Security Administration Punishments Law. Understand?" Zhao Changming was startled and quickly turned to Gu Jin, imploring, "Senior sister, please help me. I can't be detained." Gu Jin looked towards Li Changsheng with difficulty. After all, Zhao Changming had acted because he saw her being pushed. She felt she couldn't just watch him get detained. Li Changsheng felt a sharp pain in his nose and requested to go to the hospital, for an injury assessment and treatment. The police understood his meaning immediately. He intended to hold the other party responsible. If the bridge of his nose was broken, it could likely be classified as a minor injury. Once it reached the level of minor injury, it became a criminal case. Without Li Changxing's forgiveness, Zhao Changming faced 5 to 10 days of detention and a fine. Gu Jin grabbed Li Changxing's arm again and began pleading. Changsheng, Changming is our junior. He didn't hit you intentionally. If he's detained, he might get fired. Why don't you just forgive him? By this point, Li Changxing no longer felt the heartache. His heart had shattered the moment Gu Jin protected Zhao Changming. He just looked at her. Are you sure you want me to forgive him? Gu Jin hesitated for a moment, glanced at Zhao Changming's pale, pleading face, and then nodded. Li Changxing agreed. The police lectured Zhao Changming for a bit, and then left. Seeing Li Changsheng hadn't left, Gu Jin happily reached out to take his hand. Changsheng, let's go home. I'll help you clean up. Li Changsheng dodged her touch and said flatly. Let's go. Go back. Okay, let's hurry back. Gu Jin thought Li Changsheng was fine now and wanted to go home with her. She was overjoyed. It had been a long time since she had spent the night with Li Changsheng. Although he wouldn't let her hold his hand now, she believed once they were home, he would surely make up with her. Watching the two walk ahead, Zhao Changming, feeling like he had narrowly escaped disaster, felt not a shred of gratitude towards Li Changsheng. Instead, seeing Gu Jin's manner, his jealousy intensified. He gritted his teeth, his fists clenching tightly. Upstairs, Li Changsheng stood at a distance, waiting for Gu Jin to open the door first. After Gu Jin opened the door and went inside, Li Changsheng prepared to enter. Behind him, Zhao Changming spoke in a voice only the two of them could hear. Senior, do you really think Senior's sister still loves you? Before Li Changsheng could answer, Zhao had already walked past and returned to his own apartment. Watching his retreating back, Li Changxing couldn't help but smile bitterly. Actually, even without Zhao saying anything, he already knew Gu Jin didn't love him anymore. For him, the moment Gu Jin hadn't asked Zhao Changming to leave her apartment earlier, he knew the answer. Gu Jin saw him standing at the doorway and called out in surprise, Changsheng, come in. The pair of slippers were by the door today because Zhao Changming hadn't come in, but he didn't want to wear them. He found them dirty. So under Gu Jin's shocked gaze, he walked into her room, opened the closet, and took out a file bag. Inside was his full set of documents. He opened it, checked that his graduation certificate, degree certificate, and other papers were all there, then walked back out. Gu Jin, let's break up. I'm leaving. Without waiting for Gu Jin to speak, he quickly walked out of her home. Changsheng. Only when Li Changxing's figure disappeared from the doorway did Gu Jin react, chasing after him in her slippers. But just like the last time, Li Changsheng was already gone from the stairwell. In reality, Li Changsheng was also in agony. The moment he truly decided to let Gu Jin go, his heart ached terribly. He hadn't actually left so quickly, but had gone down to the third-floor landing. He leaned his head back against the wall, tears bursting from his eyes and streaming down his cheeks. Changsheng. Gu Jin fell to the ground with a thud, still calling his name. Zhao Changming quickly rushed out of his own apartment, holding Gu Jin. Senior sister, don't cry. He doesn't want you, I want you. Get up quickly. Gu Jin was terrified, shoving Zhao Changming away forcefully and shouting, What nonsense are you talking? Get away from me. Go away. Zhao Changming was pushed away, but quickly tried to hold her again. This repeated several times, until Gu Jin slapped him hard across the face, finally making him stop. Gu Jin hurriedly retreated into her home, shutting the door tightly. Zhao Changming shouted from outside the door, Senior sister, Gu Jin, I like you. Let me take care of you. Gu Jin's furious roar came from inside the house. Get lost. Zhao Changming could only turn away with a dark expression, dejectedly heading back to his own apartment. It was already midnight when he returned home. Li Changsheng felt a bit dizzy, his whole being groggy. After pushing the door open and entering, his two roommates emerged from their rooms simultaneously, looking anxious. Changsheng, are you all right? You don't look well. Luo Guangming, seeing his pale face, quickly asked. Li Changsheng shook his head, saying, I'm fine. Brother Luo, Brother Zhong, why aren't you resting yet? Zhong Hanxing smiled and said, I was still reviewing. Since you weren't back yet, I was worried. Luo Guangming asked, Were you seeing your girlfriend? Li Changsheng sighed and said, Just want to pick something up. Changsheng, listen to your brother here. Your priority now is self-improvement. Don't let matters of the heart trip you up. If you fall, no one will wait for you to get back up. Seeing the encouraging looks from his two roommates, Li Changsheng felt his eyes warm and nodded. Understand. Thank you, Brother Luo. Thank you, Brother Zhong. He felt so foolish, always getting tangled up over Gu Jin, causing himself so much mental turmoil. It wasn't worth it. Since Gu Jin was already wavering, it meant she was no longer worth waiting for. Zhong Hansheng patted his shoulder and said, Changsheng, you're not in good shape. Go take a shower and get a good night's sleep. Recover your strength first. Right. Health is the foundation of everything. Okay, I'll go take a shower then. In the following days, Li Changsheng returned to his routine life, shuttling between 2 points. After preparing the application materials for the graduate entrance exam, he began studying diligently every day, pushing thoughts of Gu Jin to the back of his mind. Actually, the review process was arduous. The political theory and professional knowledge required for the exam were manageable, as they had previously been his strengths. However, English and math were much harder, as he had forgotten a lot over the past 2 years, making revision particularly strenuous. Fortunately, both his roommates were graduate school alumni and could offer him a lot of help. During this time, Gu Jin persistently tried to contact him via WeChat and text messages, but he didn't reply to any of them. Some university classmates also asked where Li Changsheng was, mentioning that Gu Jin was looking for him. He merely chatted with them, catching up, without revealing his location. His mother also called, saying Gu Jin had phoned their home. Gu Jin hadn't explained what was wrong on the call, just kept crying, which made his mother very worried. Li Changxing couldn't figure out what Gu Jin was trying to do now. Did she want to have her cake and eat it too? Since she was already involved in an ambiguous relationship with Zheng Changming, why was she still looking for him? However, with his 2 roommates as role models, his mind was now entirely focused on studying for the grad exam. While reviewing his professional knowledge, he also connected it with his work experiences, which proved very effective, at least for that part of his studies. In the blink of an eye, it was almost National Day. In university classmates group chat, some suggested visiting Shanghai during the National Day holiday. Among them were 2 couples who had gotten together in university, plus several other male and female classmates. They planned to arrive in Shanghai on October 2nd and have a gathering with the classmates already there. Li Changsheng wasn't much in the mood for gatherings, but since his classmates knew he was in Shanghai, they tagged him, at him, and invited him along. Since they had specifically invited him, Li Changsheng couldn't refuse. He would need to maintain connections with these classmates in the future, and refusing would seem too unfriendly. On September 28th, his mother called Li Changsheng to tell him his paternal aunt was going to Shanghai Xia Hospital for surgery and asked him to help take care of her. His aunt, Li Chunfeng, was his father Li Dishan's only sister, and the 2 families had always been very close. Li Changsheng thought for a moment, then requested 3 days of annual leave, connecting them with a National Day holiday, to make it convenient to care for his aunt. However, by the time he contacted his aunt, she had already arrived at Shanghai Xia Hospital. Accompanying her were his cousin Zhu Hui, his cousin Zhu Yan, and Zhu Yan's husband, Zhao Chunyong. Li Changsheng rushed to Xia Hospital after work. It was already dark when he arrived at Xia Hospital. He was just about to look for his aunt's ward when, upon entering the hospital gates, he saw a familiar figure supporting Zheng Changming as they walked. Zheng Changming had a cast on his left ankle. His face was somewhat pale. He leaned on a crutch with his right hand, and his whole body was practically leaning on Gu Jin. Coming face to face with them, Li Changsheng froze for a moment. Gu Jin saw Li Changsheng too. Suppressing the sour feeling in his heart, Li Changsheng continued walking forward. Changsheng, Gu Jin called out, her voice tinged with surprise. Li Changsheng nodded. What a coincidence. His tone was flat, but he deliberately avoided looking at Zheng Changming, who was currently looking at him with a pained expression. Gu Jin explained somewhat anxiously, Changsheng, Changming had a fall yesterday and didn't come to work today. The boss asked me to come see him. Li Changsheng paused for a second. Was this an explanation? Was she trying to tell him she hadn't been taking care of Zheng Changming all along, but had only come to see him today? There was really no need. Okay, well, you 2 carry on. I have things to do. With that, he started to walk around Gu Jin. Changsheng, why are you at the hospital? Are you feeling unwell? Are you sick? No. After saying this, he quickly walked forward. Gu Jin was about to say more when Zheng Changming suddenly spoke up. Senior sister, the century egg and lean pork congee this morning was delicious. Let's have that again tonight. Li Changxing's steps faltered, and he gently shook his head. Just now, Gu Jin had claimed the boss asked her to visit Zheng Changming today. But in reality, she had been here taking care of him since early morning. Huh. Gu Jin's expression changed too, and she opened her mouth wanting to explain, but Li Changsheng had already walked far away. Gu Jin lowered her head, feeling somewhat sad. Zheng Changming said, senior sister. You should go explain to senior brother. Don't deepen the misunderstanding between you two. I can manage on my own. Really? Yes, I can, Zheng Changming said, gritting his teeth. But when Gu Jin let go of him and hadn't taken 2 steps, she heard Zheng Changming cry out, and fall to the ground behind her. Gu Jin quickly returned to help him up, chiding, Look at you, falling again. And you told me you could manage. Zheng Changming said with his head down, Senior sister. I just didn't want you and senior brother to have a misunderstanding. Gu Jin sighed, Forget it. I'll explain things clearly to him. Anyway, there's nothing improper between you and me. Actually, she had been wanting to find Li Changsheng during this period, but couldn't find the time. Either she was constantly on business trips or working overtime on weekends. She felt particularly busy lately. Even tasks that weren't her responsibility were assigned to her by the boss, for reasons she didn't understand. And Li Changsheng consistently ignored her WeChat messages and didn't answer her calls. Later, she would still find Li Changsheng and have a proper talk, explaining her relationship with Zheng Changming clearly. There was truly nothing between them. They were just colleagues who got along well. Okay, senior sister. If you need me to clarify anything, just let me know. All right, let me help you back to the ward. You should still move around less for now. Okay, thank you, senior sister. Zheng Changming kept his head down while speaking. The tumor his aunt, Li Chunfeng, had was currently benign, which counted as good news. She had already been admitted to the hospital, but because the stay would be quite long, his cousin needed to rent a place nearby, so things were still rather complicated. Around every major hospital, there were numerous short-term rentals specifically for patients' families. After arranging to have dinner together the next evening, Li Changsheng took his leave not long after. Because the elevator was crowded, he opted not to take it, instead walking down the stairs. As he reached the 3rd floor, he saw the back of Gu Jin supporting Zheng Changming. The two were practically glued together. Presumably, Gu Jin was terrified Zheng Changming might fall. Suppressing the sourness in his heart, Li Changsheng managed to smile. He had intended to leave directly, but then he thought, how could Zheng Changming have fallen so coincidentally and so severely? After a moment's thought, he walked over to the 3rd floor nurse's station and asked the nurse inside. Excuse me, miss, what's the situation with my colleague, Zheng Changming? Our supervisor wants to know about his injuries to see if we need to arrange someone to temporarily cover his position. As he spoke, he turned on his phone's recording function. Zheng Changming? Which ward? Which bed? I'm not entirely sure. Could I trouble you to look him up? Zheng, as in the state of Zheng. Chang, with sun written twice, one above the other. Ming, as in tomorrow. The nurse seemed a bit impatient, but seeing how polite Li Changsheng was, she reluctantly checked the system. She quickly found Zheng Changming's information. Oh, this Zheng Changming. Came in last night, saying his foot hurt badly. The examination found it was just a sprained ankle. He didn't really need a cast. Some ice and a few days rest would have been fine. But he insisted on being hospitalized and paid for 7 days up front. So you mean he's actually fine and could go back to work? We'll know after the rounds tomorrow when we check on him. Thank you so much, miss. The nurse waved him off without a word. Descending the stairs, Li Changsheng sneered inwardly. Just as he thought, Zheng Changming was playing tricks, pretending his fall was serious, so Gu Jin would take care of him. And Gu Jin was foolish too, not even bothering to check if he was truly injured that badly, just sticking close to care for him, and so meticulously too. In the blink of an eye, it was October 2 ND. Li Changsheng found his university classmates at the Bund. Having not seen each other for 2 years, the classmates had changed significantly, shedding their youthful awkwardness and gaining a measure of competence. They all had good foundations, after all, having graduated from a 985 university and studied management. The first 2 years after starting work are when abilities improve the fastest, and everyone had made considerable gains. Changsheng, you're late. As a local host, this isn't very hospitable of you, is it? With his arm around his fiancée, Xia Danden's shoulder, wearing sunglasses, he looked quite suave in the breeze from the Huangpu River. Li Changsheng clasped his fists and said with a smile, My apologies, everyone. My aunt came to Shanghai Xia Hospital for surgery, and I just rushed over from the hospital. How rude of me. How rude. Classmate Chun Liang asked, How is your aunt? Is the surgery scheduled? Li Changsheng pointed to his head. She has a tumor inside. It's still benign now, but to be on the safe side, we want to get it removed quickly. The time hasn't been set yet. Xia is a major hospital. Getting surgery there probably involves a queue, right? That's right. She's already been admitted, so we're waiting for now. After some pleasantries, Wu Jie said, Let's go. Let's head to Huang Mingyu's family's restaurant for dinner. It's not far from here. He's already booked a table for us and insisted we go, otherwise he wouldn't acknowledge us as classmates anymore. Huang Mingyu was a local Shanghai classmate whose family ran a restaurant specializing in authentic Shanghai cuisine, quite distinctive. However, Li Changsheng had never been. His relationship with Huang Mingyu back in school was just average, and besides, he had been busy with projects before and didn't have much time. As they walked, classmate Su Guokai asked, how come Gu Jin isn't here yet? No idea. Didn't she say she'd hurry over? Just ask Changsheng, he'll know, right? And so, everyone looked at Li Changsheng. Li Changsheng shook his head. I don't know. We've already broken up. Broken up? How could that be? When did that happen? Like Wu Jie and Xia Dandan and Wang Bin and Wu Tingting, Li Changsheng and Gu Jin were a couple who had gotten together on campus. One of the classmates rather envied. They hadn't expected them to break up now, and everyone felt a sense of regret. Li Changsheng waved his hand dismissively. It happened just a few months ago. Female classmate Xiao Mei said doubtfully. That's not right. I saw Gu Jin's recent social media posts, and they also showed she was at Xia Hospital. Weren't you together? Li Changsheng shook his head. No, I saw her too. It seems her colleague was hospitalized. She was probably there taking care of him. She's quite kind-hearted then, one classmate remarked appreciatively. Someone else then asked, that colleague isn't male, is he? The others again looked towards Li Changsheng. Li Changsheng nodded with a calm expression. Immediately, everyone quickly changed the subject. Continuing this topic would only embarrass Li Changsheng further. Soon, they arrived at Huang Mengyu's family restaurant. Huang Mengyu, who wasn't tall, was already waiting there. Upon meeting, the classmates exchanged another round of greetings. Before the classmates could enter the restaurant, Gu Jin walked over from the street, looking hurried. Sorry, I'm late, really sorry. A female classmate went over and took Gu Jin's hand. I thought you weren't coming. Have you been that busy? Gu Jin saw Li Changsheng and replied somewhat distractedly. How could I not? With so many classmates visiting, I definitely had to come. This female classmate was named Li Xiaona. She asked in a low voice, Gu Jin, did you and Li Changsheng break up? Gu Jin's heart skipped a beat. She quickly shook her head and said, No. Who said we broke up? Li Changsheng himself said it. What happened between you two? Gu Jin's face fell. She didn't answer the question but walked up to Li Changsheng and asked with reddened eyes, Changsheng, when did we break up? Li Changsheng said calmly, Didn't we talk about it last time I went to your place to get my things? But I didn't agree to break up, Gu Jin said, biting her lip, trying not to let her tears fall. Breaking up isn't like getting divorced. It doesn't require both people to agree. I don't agree. Li Changsheng asked quizzically. Why don't you agree? I've already made way for your junior schoolmate. Why are you still holding on to me? Gu Jin shouted, losing her composure. I told you, there's really nothing between Changming and me. He's just our junior schoolmate, and now we're neighbors, that's all. Why don't you believe me? Oh, I believe you, Li Changsheng said, forcing back the bitterness in his heart. I just choose to break up with you, that's all. The classmates looked at each other in dismay. It was like witnessing major drama unfold. Now, they understood. Li Changsheng had initiated the breakup because of Gu Jin's relationship with a junior schoolmate named Changming. Li Xiaona took Gu Jin's hand comfortingly. Gu Jin, don't cry. You and Li Changsheng have been together for so many years. Just talk things through clearly. Then she turned to Li Changsheng. Changsheng, is there some misunderstanding here? Li Changsheng shook his head. No misunderstanding. All right, let's go inside. There are quite a few people out here. Huang Mingyu also chimed in. Right, everyone, let's get into the private room first. We can talk properly inside. Li Changsheng also intended to follow the others inside, but Gu Jin caught his arm. Gu Jin tried to take his hand, but he pulled away. Changsheng, what exactly do you want? Can you stop making a scene, please? Gu Jin stomped her foot in exasperation. Li Changsheng waved for his classmates to go in first, then turned to Gu Jin. I don't want anything. Why do you still think I'm making a scene? We've already broken up. Okay. Why? Why do we break up? All right, let's make it clear today. We broke up because you had a change of heart. That's why I wanted to break up. I didn't. Changsheng, I haven't changed my heart. Li Changsheng snorted. You're endlessly entangled with Zheng Changming, enjoying your ambiguous relationship. And you say you haven't changed your heart? Stop playing me for a fool. Okay? I'm not an idiot. I told you, he's just my colleague. Our junior alumnus, that's all. There's nothing improper between us. Do you dare say he has no designs on you? Well, Gu Jin hesitated. Zheng Changming had already confessed his feelings to her. That was undeniable. See? You know he has designs on you, yet you still maintain such intimacy with him. Isn't that having a change of heart? He likes me, but I don't like him. The one I love is you, Changsheng. Li Changsheng held up a hand. Don't use that word love with me. You knew he liked you, yet you carried on intimately, practically living together. Cohabiting. Haha, claiming the faucet was broken, but it wasn't fixed for a month? With that excuse, he could shower at your place, do laundry, even washing his underwear with yours, hanging them out together. He comes and goes from your room like it's his own. You even cook and eat together, right? Don't you quite enjoy that feeling? Gu Jin explained anxiously. No, his faucet was fixed long ago. He went back to showering at his own place. I've barely had any contact with him recently, believe me. Weren't you just taking care of him in the hospital 2 days ago? And now you say you've barely had contact? Gu Jin, lying has become second nature to you now. TSK. Li Changsheng couldn't help but sneer. The memory of Gu Jin intimately caring for Zheng Changming the day before yesterday still left a bitter taste in his heart. That was just looking after an injured colleague. Isn't that normal? Normal? If I went and cared for an injured female colleague like that, would you think it was normal? How could that be okay? Don't you know men and women are different? Gu Jin blurted out. Li Changsheng burst into laughter. Haha, so you can care for Zheng Changming like that, but I can't? Gu Jin, such double standards now? Men and women are different, huh? What? Is Zheng Changming a woman in drag? That's not what I meant. What you mean isn't important anymore, Gu Jin. We broken up. How you want to care for Zheng Changming is none of my business. I'm going in to eat. He had just turned when Gu Jin grabbed his arm again. He turned back and snapped. Let go. Gu Jin was startled, her eyes reddening, but she didn't release her grip. Changsheng, don't be like this with me. I don't want to break up. Just then her phone rang. She quickly pulled it from her bag and glanced at the screen. Seeing it was Zheng Changming, she hesitated for a moment, unsure whether to answer. Li Changsheng turned back with a smile. Your junior alumnus is calling, right? He might need something. Gu Jin sounded somewhat unnatural. Yeah, is he your only colleague? Are all the others dead? I just don't get it, Gu Jin. Do you just enjoy this feeling of being needed? Playing the saint. Gu Jin choked up. Changsheng, how can you say that about me? Isn't it true? You know perfectly well Zheng Changming has improper designs on you, yet you grant his every request. What is that if not playing the saint? He's a grown man in his 20s, a university graduate, acting like he'd die without you around. Don't you see there's something wrong with that? What's wrong? Gu Jin asked softly. Her phone rang again. The first call had timed out. This was the second attempt. Hurry up and answer it, Li Changsheng said irritably. Maybe something terrible happened. He might drop dead any second now. Gu Jin picked up her phone, saying, Changsheng, don't talk like that. Then she answered the call. Hello, Changming, what's wrong? Her tone, though level, held a note of tenderness. Li Changsheng pulled his hand free and walked into the restaurant. Gu Jin quickly moved to follow, but then she heard Zheng Changming's tearful, low voice through the phone. Senior sister, can you come see me? I fell again going to the bathroom, just now. It hurts so much. The doctor says it's worse. How did you fall again? Aya, how can you be so careless? Why? Why am I so unlucky? All right, don't worry for now. I'll come back right away to see you. Okay, senior sister, I'll wait for you. After entering the restaurant, Li Changsheng followed the waiter to the private room. Seeing him enter, Wu Jie asked, Changsheng, quickly sit down. You're only just coming in. Where's Gu Jin? Li Changsheng sat down and said calmly. The junior alumnus called. She's taking the call. Li Xiaona asked. Is it that junior alumnus? Li Changsheng nodded. And you're not going to manage that? Li Xiaona asked, brimming with gossip. The other classmates also looked towards Li Changsheng. Li Changsheng shrugged. We've already broken up. What's there to manage? Xia Dandan said. Li Changsheng, that's such a pity. You two were together for 5 years, right? Are you just letting that junior alumnus snatch her away like this? What's mine, no one can snatch away. What can be snatched away wasn't truly mine to begin with. I couldn't stop it even if I tried. Li Changsheng said, taking a sip of tea, a hint of loneliness in his voice. When Gu Jin comes in, let's try to talk some sense into her. It wasn't easy for you two to be together. Don't give up so easily, Xia Dandan said regretfully. Li Changsheng waved his hand dismissively. No need. We've really broken up. Besides, there won't be a chance. She's about to go take care of her junior alumnus. She won't stay for dinner. No way. So many of us classmates are here, and we haven't seen each other in so long. Is her junior alumnus more important than all of us? The other classmates also seemed unconvinced. But Li Changsheng merely gave a faint smile. He didn't even need to guess. Gu Jin would definitely come in any moment, say she had an emergency, and leave. Sure enough, just then, Gu Jin pushed the door open. Without sitting down, she came directly behind Li Changsheng and apologized to the group. Classmates, I'm so sorry. something urgent came up. I have to go. How about Changsheng and I treat you to dinner tomorrow night? Okay. Li Changsheng felt annoyed. If you're treating them, why drag me into it? Xia Dandan asked. Gu Jin, are you going to take care of that junior alumnus? Gu Jin paused, glanced at Li Changsheng, then nodded. Yes, that junior alumnus is Zheng Changming. Maybe you know him too. He's in my department now. He injured his leg and is still hospitalized. He called just now saying he fell again, and the doctor says it's worse. He doesn't have any family here, so I have to be the one to take care of him. I won't keep talking. I have to go now. See you tomorrow. With that, she waved at the classmates and left the private room. The room fell silent. No one spoke. Well, Changsheng, when it's time to cut ties, do it decisively. Being single can be quite freeing, just like me, huh? Seeing the somewhat somber atmosphere, Su Guokai chimed in. Yeah, Changsheng, there are still so many beautiful girls in our class. You can find another one. That's right. While love is important, having bread on the table is important too, isn't it? Because there were two couples present, Huang Mengyu, who was speaking, didn't explicitly say that bread was more important than love, but everyone understood the implication. Xiao Mei asked doubtfully, this Zheng Changming. His name sounds a bit familiar. Do you guys know him? The others began to think as well. Li Xiaona, who had roomed with Gu Jin for 4 years, suddenly exclaimed, I remember who this Zheng Changming is. Who? Xiao Mei, do you remember? We joined the badminton club with Gu Jin before. In our junior year, a guy stopped Gu Jin and confessed his feelings to her. That guy was named Zheng Changming. He even wrote her many love letters afterwards. Hearing this, Xiao Mei also remembered and nodded. That's right. I remember he was quite handsome and tall. Li Xiaona nodded yes. I didn't expect him to be in Shanghai now, too. Su Guokai asked Li Changsheng. Did you know about this? Li Changsheng shook his head. He indeed hadn't known about this hidden detail. During his junior year, the allowance his family gave him was only enough for food. Plus, dating Gu Jin increased his expenses. Eating out, watching movies, going shopping, and the like all required him to pay. So he took on several tutoring jobs and was off and out. Li Xiaona asked in a low voice, Li Changsheng, didn't Gu Jin tell you? No. Then this matter seemed a bit suspicious. The classmates all looked at Li Changsheng with sympathetic eyes. Li Changsheng knew what those looks meant. They suspected Gu Jin might have cheated on him earlier, that he'd been wearing a green hat for a long time. He used to trust Gu Jin implicitly, but now? Who could be sure? Even if she hadn't physically cheated, perhaps she had emotionally cheated long ago. For Gu Jin, it might have just been a case of having her feet in two boats. Since they had already chosen to break up, there was no point dwelling on whether he had been cheated on before. He smiled and said, Why are you all staring at me? Even if you're not hungry, I am. All right, let's eat. I've been wanting to try authentic Shanghai cuisine for a while. Everyone dig in, don't be polite. Huang Mingyu was the last to speak. They were all classmates for many years and sometimes drank together during university. Huang Mingyu had prepared red wine today, and gradually the atmosphere became lively. Then the conversation turned to their respective jobs. Among these classmates, most were working in Shenzhen or Guangzhou. There were many large companies in those places. The competition was fierce, but correspondingly, one could gain significant experience and grow quickly. A little over 2 years after graduation, a few classmates had already been promoted to supervisor positions, though they were all finance majors. In terms of job prospects, finance offered many more opportunities than human resources management, such as venture capital and banking, accounting firms, auditing firms, corporate accounting, cashier roles, tax planning, etc. Consequently, it was also relatively easier to achieve results. The job market for human resources management, however, was quite narrow, essentially covering the 6 major modules. The key issue was that these jobs weren't exclusive to HR graduates. HR work is easy to learn but difficult to master. Anyone with a management background could do it, such as graduates in business management, industrial and commercial administration, or administrative management. Even literature majors could sometimes do HR work. Of course, this referred mostly to administrative tasks. For highly specialized roles, those formally trained in human resources management still held a significant advantage. The problem was, having graduated only 2 years ago, who would entrust you with highly specialized work? This wasn't a novel. Even private enterprises that didn't strictly follow seniority wouldn't be so reckless. Su Guokai asked while eating, Classmates, have any of you gotten certified? Certified in what? A classmate asked, puzzled. The Human Resources Management Professional Certification. I'm thinking of taking the exam now. Why get that certification? I heard people who didn't major in this field take it. It's unnecessary for us. It's not that it's unnecessary, But right now, we can only take the Level 3 Human Resources Management Professional exam, and Level 3 is practically useless for us, even as majors. I suggest waiting a few years to take the Level 2 and then Level 1. Those have real value. Is that so? Xiao Mei was right earlier. I suggest if you have time now, it's better to go for a master's degree. After graduating with a master's, you can directly take the Level 2 exam. That will be quite helpful for us in reaching middle management. The classmates discussed animatedly. Some were in state-owned enterprises, some in private companies, some in high-tech firms, and others in manufacturing. Everyone had their own perspective, and listening to them gave Li Changxing quite a bit of inspiration. Changsheng, why aren't you saying anything? Still heartbroken? Su Guokai asked jokingly. Li Changxing shook his head. I've been listening, and what you're all saying is excellent. I'm greatly inspired. Come, let me toast you all to express my gratitude. All right, cheers. Cheers. After downing half a glass of red wine, Wu Jie asked, Changsheng, what are your thoughts? Organizing his thoughts, Li Changsheng said, for the past 2 years, I've been working on construction sites, handling project personnel, and compensation management. I've gained some insights into personnel management for construction projects. As you all know, the real estate industry is booming right now, and the demand in this area is quite high. I plan to combine this experience, apply for a master's program, and improve my theoretical knowledge. Damn, so you were quietly planning to apply for grad school? I'm still preparing. I don't know if I'll get in. What's there to fear? Prepare well. If not this year, there's always next year. We're still young. Anyway, that's right. Just work hard. The classmates ate and chatted, drinking until past 9 o'clock. Li Xiaona took out her phone, saw a message on WeChat, and her expression changed. Li Changsheng, Gu Jin is asking me if we've finished eating and where you are. How should I reply? Why doesn't she ask you directly? Li Changsheng shook his head. I've already deleted and blocked all her contact information. Do you need to go that far? Li Changsheng said with a bitter smile. A good ex should be like they're dead. Haha, I intend to be a good ex. That makes sense. That's how it should be. No lingering attachments. After reading the message, Li Xiaona asked again. Gu Jin says she's booked a restaurant for tomorrow. Should we go? Xiao Mei said, let's go. We're all classmates. Everyone else looked at Li Changsheng. Li Changsheng smiled faintly. Go ahead. You all should go. We were classmates, after all, and since we're in Shanghai, she's sort of one of the hosts. You should go. Aren't you going? I won't go. If I go, her junior brother will probably cause trouble again. Better not. Oh, naturally, Li Changsheng didn't attend the gathering the next evening, nor did he pay it any mind. However, Su Guokai sent him a WeChat message that night, filling him in on the situation. Su Guokai reported that the classmates were thoroughly disgusted because Zheng Changming had also attended, leaning on crutches no less, and had Gu Jin tend to him the entire time. Gu Jin was indeed exceptionally attentive, supporting him upon arrival and taking meticulous care during the meal, either peeling shrimp and cracking crabs for him or washing his vegetables. This washing involved rinsing the chili peppers out of the dishes with plain water before Zheng ate, supposedly because his leg injury hadn't fully healed and he couldn't handle spicy food. Gu Jin's care was meticulous, and Zheng Changming constantly expressed gratitude towards her, showcasing their closeness. However, the classmates felt uncomfortable throughout the entire meal. Things finally came to a head when Zheng Changming accidentally ate some chili pepper. His subsequent whining and Gu Jin's comforting him caused the classmates to erupt. Xiao Mei bluntly told Gu Jin she shouldn't be so boundaryless with Zheng Changming. Gu Jin tried to explain that Zheng Changming was injured and found everything inconvenient. Xiao Mei sneered. It's his foot that's injured, not his hands. Did the sprain somehow infect his hands too? An ordinary person might have snapped at the classmates, but Zheng Changming didn't. Instead, his eyes reddened as if on the verge of tears, making it seem as though Xiao Mei had grievously bullied him. While comforting Zheng Changming, Gu Jin also showed displeasure at Xiao Mei's words. In the end, everyone hastily finished the meal, skipped the planned karaoke session, and quickly dispersed. Li Changsheng wasn't particularly bothered, merely agreeing they should have a proper get-together next time they visited Shenzhen. He refrained from offering to treat them the next day, lest it appear Gu Jin had erred and he was compensating. Putting down his phone, he returned to his grand undertaking of studying. Luo Guangming and Zhong Hansheng were right. Investing time and energy in one's own affairs is the only investment guaranteed not to incur a loss. Investing in other matters always carries significant risks. October 6th was the day of his Aunt Li Chuanfang's surgery, scheduled for 9 in the morning. Li Changsheng bought breakfast early and headed to the hospital, planning to bring it for his cousin and cousin-in-law. His aunt couldn't eat before the operation. Although the tumor was benign, its location within the brain meant the surgical risk was still quite high, leaving Li Changsheng deeply worried. Just as he reached the entrance of the inpatient building, he saw a hurried figure approaching from the direction of the hospital cafeteria. "Changsheng, what are you doing here?" Gujin was also carrying a bag of takeaway food. What a coincidence! Offering just that brief greeting, Li Changsheng stepped into the elevator first. Gujin followed him in. "Why didn't you come to the class gathering the other day?" There were quite a few people in the elevator, but it wasn't overly crowded. There was still room to move. Gujin walked up to Li Changsheng and posed a question. "Oh, I had something on that day." "What was it?" Li Changsheng's tone was flat, but Gujin pressed on relentlessly. "Is that important?" Li Changsheng glanced at her and replied faintly. Is that important?" Gujin was somewhat taken aback. What did he mean? Wasn't it important? Soon, the elevator stopped on the third floor. Noticing Gujin showed no sign of exiting, Li Changsheng frowned. Third floor. As people moved in and out, Gujin didn't push past them, but asked instead, "How did you know I was going to the third floor?" "Saw you last time." Gujin wanted to ask more, but those exiting had already done so. She had no choice but to step out first, resolving to find Li Changsheng later. At noon, his aunt's surgery was still ongoing. Li Changsheng, his cousin Zhu Yin, and his cousin-in-law Zhao Chunyong decided to get lunch outside the hospital. Just as they stepped out of the elevator downstairs, he heard someone call his name loudly. "Changsheng." Li Changsheng felt intensely irritated. What does she want now? Zhu Yin and her husband had met Gujin before. When their parents met, being from the same town, Aunt Li Chuanfang's family had also been present. "Brother, is your girlfriend looking for you?" Zhu Yin remarked. Li Changsheng remained silent, merely asking them to wait outside for him before walking over to Gujin. "What do you want?" Gujin reached out to grab Li Changsheng's hand, but he deftly avoided it. "Changsheng, are you still angry with me?" "No. If there's nothing else, I'm going to eat with my cousin and her husband." "Then why are you ignoring me?" "We've already broken up. We shouldn't be in contact." Gujin's eyes reddened. "I don't agree to the breakup," she stated. Li Changsheng had no desire to get entangled in this argument. A breakup didn't require mutual consent. One person initiating it was sufficient. "All right, if there's nothing else, I'm leaving." But before he could turn, Gujin grabbed his arm. "Changsheng, don't go." Li Changsheng impatiently shook her hand off. "Gujin, what on earth are you trying to do? Isn't one Zheng Changming enough? Do you need two men to satisfy you?" Gujin's face instantly turned deathly pale. She stammered, What nonsense are you talking? Let me ask you, what are you doing at the hospital?" "Changming's foot is injured." Before she could finish, Li Changsheng cut her off sharply. "Oh, it's been over a week, and it's still not healed? Don't tell me he needs an amputation. That would be truly tragic." Gujin shook her head. "No, it's not that serious. It's just an injury from a fall." "Well then, take good care of him. Don't let him die young," Li Changsheng retorted, unable to resist the caustic, passive-aggressive tone. Gujin grew displeased. "Changsheng, how could you become so malicious? Changming is pitiful enough. His foot injury hasn't healed. He's been hospitalized this whole time. Why must you curse him?" Li Changsheng hadn't anticipated Gujin becoming so utterly brainless. He recalled how, back during the Gaokao, her scores were among the best in their class. She was undeniably intelligent. How was she now being so completely manipulated by Zheng Changming? No wonder some said the intellectual peak for Chinese students was their third year of high school, just before the Gaokao. After entering university, the average student's intelligence often declined. Shaking his head, he turned to leave, but Gujin clung to his arm. "Changsheng, don't go." "What else?" "Changsheng, Changming has been really down these past few days. At the gathering, the classmates treated him poorly, and he's convinced you instigated it. And now you're cursing him like this. It's really not right. So what do you want me to do? You need to go upstairs and clear things up with him. Otherwise, his leg will never heal." Li Changsheng stared at Gujin, eyes wide in disbelief. "What does that even mean? Gujin, are you nuts?" "Of course not. If you're not nuts, how can you be so stupid? Not nuts, yet you're completely fooled by Zheng Changming and now trying to drag me into this mess." Gujin glared at Li Changsheng angrily. Li Changsheng pulled out his phone, located the recording he'd made when questioning the nurse at the station last time, and held it up in front of Gujin. "What's this?" A moment later, a conversation began playing from the phone. "Zheng Changming? Which ward? Which bed number?" I'm not quite sure. Could I trouble you to help me check?" Zheng, like the historical state of Zheng. Chang, composed of two sun characters stacked vertically. Ming, as in tomorrow. We'll know when we check during rounds tomorrow. After listening to the recording, Gu Jin stood utterly dumbstruck. Li Changsheng pocketed his phone, turned around, and walked out of the inpatient building. In the days that followed, Li Changsheng paid no mind to Gu Jin's affairs, nor did he see her. He focused solely on registering for the graduate school entrance exam and studying. Even Luo Guangming and Zhong Hansheng were struck by his perseverance. In truth, he had summoned the same determination he'd had studying during his final year of high school. For English, he attended morning and evening reading sessions, memorized vocabulary and specialized terminology, and worked through practice tests. As for professional theory, he systematically reviewed the theoretical knowledge related to his research topic, a study on the work efficiency of personnel in construction projects, reinforcing what he remembered from graduation. The results were quite evident. Official registration for the graduate exam took place at the end of October, with the preliminary exam in late December. The tense period passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was Chinese New Year. Li Changxing applied for annual leave and compensatory time off for overtime. Zhang Chong, understanding how diligently Li Changsheng had worked over the past half year, often staying late, approved his leave, allowing him to return to his hometown for the Spring Festival just as the travel rush began. By the time Li Changxing's high-speed train arrived in his hometown, Longzhou City, it was already evening. Li Changsheng came from a family of 4. His parents were farmers, and he had a younger brother, Li Changjun, who worked right there in Longzhou City. So, that evening, Li Changsheng went to his brother's place. After graduating high school, Li Changjun hadn't gone to university or technical school. Instead, he learned computer skills from someone and later joined others in running a game studio. The business had been doing quite well these past few years, earning him a decent income, even higher than Li Changxing's. However, Li Changjun hadn't bought an apartment. He only had a used car for transportation, which he used to travel between the city and their hometown when he had free time. Li Changjun picked Li Changxing up from the high-speed train station, and after dinner, they returned to the apartment he rented. As they were getting ready for bed, Li Changjun suddenly asked, "Bro, when that Gu Jin really broke up, right?" "Yeah, we broke up." "Why?" "I went back home a couple of days ago, and Mom told me Gu Jin is back in town now. She even brought a man back with her, staying right at her house. They're always seen together. Mom is furious." Li Changxing paused. Well, Gu Jin had actually brought Zheng Changming back. A sense of discomfort lingered, but mostly he felt puzzled. He had already played the recording for Gu Jin last time. Shouldn't she know Zheng Changming had lied to her? Knowing that, she still decided to be with him? That was really something else. Shaking his head, he said, "I'll talk to Mom when I get back. I told her before, there's nothing to be angry about. We broke up, she's free. It's her right to be with whomever she wants." "Oh, didn't expect that woman to be so fickle. Forget it. Let's not talk about her. Let's sleep. We have to go see third uncle at the hospital tomorrow." Their third uncle was a small construction foreman. A few days prior, an accident had crushed his toes, breaking 2 bones. He was scheduled for surgery the next day. Li Changxing never expected to run into Gu Jin and Zheng Changming at the hospital. This time, however, it wasn't Zheng Changming who was injured. Instead, Zheng Changming was supporting Gu Jin, who had a hand on her lower back, clearly looking pregnant. Seeing this, Li Changxing froze. It was obvious Zheng Changming and Gu Jin had crossed the line. They even had a child on the way. Judging by how her belly wasn't showing yet, it probably hadn't been long, perhaps only the last 2 or 3 months. So much for the senior and junior student relationship. Li Changjun, carrying a bag of apples, saw Gu Jin too. He was so angry he looked ready to charge forward and hit Zheng Changming. Li Changsheng and Gu Jin had dated for 5 years. Li Changjun had met her many times and thought of her as a sister-in-law. Now, this sister-in-law was pregnant with another man's child. How could he not be furious? Li Changxing grabbed Li Changjun's arm and shook his head. Anger was one thing, but getting into a fight wasn't worth it. Gu Jin and Zheng Changming, just ascending from the hospital building, also caught sight of Li Changsheng. Gu Jin was utterly shocked and a touch guilt-ridden. Zheng Changming, however, wore a triumphant smirk. "What a coincidence, Senior. I never expected to run into you in Senior Sister's hometown." "Oh, right, I remember now. You're both from the same town. My apologies." Li Changsheng shook his head. "It is quite the coincidence." With that, he took his younger brother's arm, intending to head upstairs, but Zheng Changming stepped in their way. Senior Sister and I are getting married on the 5th day of the Lunar New Year. You absolutely must come and raise a glass with us." Li Changxing's expression shifted. Li Changjun then exploded. "You damn idiot. Aren't you disgusting? Zhang Changming glanced at Li Changjun, a faint smile playing on his lips. What did I do? I graciously invite you to my wedding celebration, and you resort to insults? Such poor manners. Li Changjun, enraged, turned to Gu Jin. Gu Jin, I never imagined you were this kind of person, taking up with trash like him and then coming here to provoke my brother. I must have been blind before, thinking you were actually a decent sister-in-law. Gu Jin lowered her head, tugging at Zhang Changming's arm. Changming, let's just go. Zhang Changming, however, remained unmoved. He addressed Li Changsheng. Senior, your brother has quite a temper. But then again, anyone whose sister-in-law gets stolen would be angry, so I won't hold it against him. Remember to come to the wedding banquet, all right? Xiao Jin and I will personally deliver the invitation in the next day or two. Li Changsheng pulled Li Changjun along, replying calmly, all right. I wish you both a long and happy life together, and may you soon have children. Gu Jin abruptly lifted her head, staring at Li Changsheng in utter shock, her pale face etched with disbelief. Li Changjun, too, gazed at his older brother in astonishment. Zhang Changming roared with laughter, then pulled Gu Jin away. Brother, why aren't you angry? You should have at least given him a beating. Li Changjun couldn't comprehend Li Changsheng's reaction. Li Changsheng, though his mood was soured, explained, Changjun, what good would hitting him do? If he reported it to the police, you'd end up at the station, making yourself suffer just to let off steam? It's not worth it. But he stole sister-in-law from you. A woman who can be stolen away wasn't truly yours to begin with. Let go. Since we've broken up, why concern ourselves with her? Come on, let's go check on third uncle. Li Changjun was still fuming, but held his tongue. Li Changsheng hadn't retaliated against Zhang Changming simply because he felt it wasn't worth the effort. He had no idea what had transpired between those two, but judging by the scene moments ago, the power dynamic between Gu Jin and Zhang Changming had clearly shifted, perhaps even completely reversed. Before, Zhang Changming had been the pursuer, and while Gu Jin had treated him with a certain degree of favor, she hadn't accepted him. Just now, however, it was Gu Jin pleading for Zhang Changming to leave, a plea he hadn't immediately heeded. Ultimately, it was Zhang Changming who led Gu Jin away. This suggested that in their current relationship, Zhang Changming held the reins, and Gu Jin followed. What exactly had occurred remained unknown, but it was no longer his concern. Why dwell on it? After returning to his hometown, Li Changsheng rested well for 2 days. He basically didn't leave the house, just stayed home. He went to bed early at night and spent his days watching movies in his room after waking up. Until one day, an unexpected visitor arrived. Guan Xiaoya, what brings you here? The visitor was his junior high classmate, Guan Xiaoya, who had also been classmates with Gu Jin for many years, though Li Changsheng hadn't interacted much with her. Guan Xiaoya had attended No. 2 middle school for high school, while Li Changsheng and Gu Jin went to No. 1. Later, Guan Xiaoya got into a second-tier university. After graduation, instead of seeking work in a big city, she returned to the county, joined the Xinji Yifu program as a volunteer, and now worked at the town government. Guan Xiaoya looked at him and said with a smile, Li Changsheng, you're back, but haven't looked up old classmates like us to hang out. You wouldn't happen to be nursing a broken heart at home, would you? She wasn't exceptionally beautiful, but possessed the kind of enduring features that were pleasant to look at. Li Changsheng chuckled. What heartbreak? I stopped caring about that long ago. But isn't work busy? How come you have time to visit me on a work day? Guan Xiaoya sighed and said, about you and Gu Jin. Sigh. I used to envy you two so much. I thought you'd be getting married soon. I never expected it to end up like this. Li Changsheng quickly cut short her sentimental sighing and asked, did you come here just to talk about this? Huh? How did you become so cold-blooded and heartless? How am I cold-blooded and heartless? Li Changsheng feigned innocence. After all these years together with Gu Jin, even though you've broken up, she's about to marry someone else, and your reaction is so indifferent? Isn't that cold-blooded and heartless? So what should I do? Should I be weeping, begging her not to leave? Guan Xiaoya was at a loss for words, unsure what to say. Regarding the matter between them, the fault truly wasn't Li Changsheng's. But Gu Jin was her good friend, while Li Changsheng was just an old classmate. Li Changsheng, the way things ended up between you and Gu Jin, it's actually your fault too. My fault? Li Changsheng was stunned, pointing at his own nose and looking at Guan Xiaoya in disbelief. Of course it's your fault. Look, you and Gu Jin were both working in Shanghai, but when did you ever show enough concern for her? You worked on a construction site, only free on weekends, and sometimes when work got busy, you couldn't even see her then. When Gu Jin was sick, there was no one to take care of her. When she first started her job, she struggled to adjust, and colleagues bullied her. Where were you then? Li Changsheng sneered. Oh, so that's why she cheated on me with Zheng Changming? What do you mean cheated? Guan Xiaoye retorted anxiously, not wanting her friend branded a cheater. She only got together with that Zheng Changming these past few months after you had already broken up with her. It doesn't count as cheating. Li Changsheng retorted coldly. Since we've already broken up, why are you even telling me all this? Guan Xiaoye said, Li Changsheng, actually Gu Jin still loves you, but you've been ignoring her. If you forgive her, she definitely won't marry that Zheng Changming. Li Changsheng found this laughable. Gu Jin was already carrying Zheng Changming's child, and she expected forgiveness? What about the child in her belly? That child. It only happened because Zheng Changming took advantage of Gu Jin when she was drunk. She's only 3 months along now. If you forgive her, I'll persuade her to abort the child. Don't worry, she added, she'll listen to me. Li Changsheng shook his head. Forget it then. Since she has decided to marry Zheng Changming, all I can do is wish her well. Wish her and Zheng Changming 100 years of happiness, growing old together. Li Changsheng, how can you be so heartless? Gu Jin is your girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend, he corrected. And you call me heartless? Gu Jin cheated with a junior schoolmate, got pregnant, and I'm the heartless one? Guan Xiaoye, when did you lose your ability to tell right from wrong? You should leave. I don't want to see you. With that, he turned and went back into his house. Guan Xiaoye stamped her foot, then left, muttering curses under her breath. The spring festival passed quickly, and soon it was the 5th day of the first lunar month. Li Changsheng never received a wedding invitation from Zheng Changming and Gu Jin, but he didn't mind. If none came, none came. He hadn't wanted to attend their wedding anyway. Later, he heard from his mother about news she'd picked up in town. Zheng Changming had taken Gu Jin back to his own hometown to hold the wedding. Apparently, Zheng had initially planned to spend the new year at Gu Jin's family home, but he became furious upon hearing gossip that he was essentially marrying into the family, becoming a son-in-law who lives with the bride's family. Angered, he insisted on returning to his hometown, which was in a town in the neighboring county. The power dynamic had clearly shifted. He declared that if Gu Jin didn't return with him, the wedding was off. Concerned about the child she was carrying, Gu Jin had argued with her parents but ultimately had no choice but to go with him. Her parents, naturally, disapproved. In terms of background and prospects, Zheng Changming wasn't even on par with Li Changsheng. Given the choice, they would undoubtedly have preferred Li Changsheng, whom they knew inside and out. But Gu Jin insisted she had broken up with Li. When Zheng Changming first arrived, he had been exceedingly polite and attentive, acting subserviently. Yet, just days later, he suddenly asserted himself. Not only did his attitude towards Gu Jin change drastically, but he even dared to show disrespect to her parents. Gu Jin came from a family with 3 daughters. Initially, when she brought Zheng Changming home and mentioned plans for a wedding banquet there on the 5th day of the new year, her parents had assumed a neutral marriage arrangement, neither marrying out for the daughter nor marrying in for the son-in-law, a practice common in recent years, especially with single-child families. They never imagined Zheng Changming would turn hostile so quickly. After the Spring Festival holiday ended, Li Changsheng returned to Shanghai to resume his preparations for the graduate school entrance exams. With the second round interview scheduled for mid-March, he needed to focus intently on his studies. The next time Li Changsheng heard news of Gu Jin was over 2 years later. He didn't see her at a class reunion, but Xiao Mei shared what had happened. The child Gu Jin had been carrying with Zheng Changming was never born. When she was over 7 months pregnant, Zheng Changming, in a drunken rage, had beaten her, causing a miscarriage. Afterward, afraid to even recover at her own home, Gu Jin had gone to Hangzhou to find work, desperate to escape Zheng. Though they remained legally married, it wasn't until the previous month, after a mandated 2-year separation, that her divorce lawsuit was finally successful. According to Xiao Mei, Gu Jin now looked haggard and worn, her health suffering. She had apparently borrowed money multiple times from Xiao Mei and other classmates. As the sums were relatively small, they had lent it to her, hoping that post-divorce, she could find her footing and eventually repay them. Li Changsheng hadn't anticipated such an outcome. How could Zheng Changming, who had once pursued Gu Jin so ardently, turn into someone who would physically abuse her? He mused that perhaps part of the reason lay with Gu Jin herself. Her prolonged ambiguity, appearing receptive while simultaneously pushing him away, might have given Zheng hope only to repeatedly frustrate him, ultimately twisting his feelings. With each perceived rejection, perhaps Zheng's thoughts had increasingly turned towards eventual retaliation. If Gu Jin had been decisive from the start, whether accepting or rejecting him, maybe the result would have been different.